Hello guys and welcome to today's video, and it's another PvP analysis on the Noir and vVv fight. It's been an amazing, honestly, action-packed day too, and here I've honestly got a really good highlight of everything that went down over a long time, right? So I've broken down to the best parts, trying to give you all the insight here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the way I formatted this for your experience. Hello guys, yes, smash like, comment, and subscribe for more daily videos with me, MrSneakyy, the one and only. And we're here just basically showcasing the opening of this Noir and vVv fight. So if you basically watched, hopefully, the first video, and maybe if you haven't, I'll put the little video link above somewhere that will pop up if I've done it right around this time. You'll basically be able to watch, the opening fight where these guys basically met at the bridge. But where we're going to be watching, and I'll be showcasing it a little bit later, is just on the right. It's a little bit on this point where they've basically moved to the eastern side and they've meted at a different choke point. And they're fighting between each other basically to try and wrap around and basically cut each other's access to the bridge. It's actually a really, really cool strategy that's been going on. And we are going to be breaking it down properly, like I said, for you guys. Since here we've got different highlights, as you can see currently just in the background showcasing of this fight. But what we need to go and break down here is just how beautifully, when we pause this footage now, is this structure. And this is what kind of like vVv had in the early days of this fight. And obviously this is early, and I mean early, around 8 to 9 UTC when I was recording this, or when we were live. And you'll notice, obviously, the fight, as it goes on and on in time, the closer we get to more towards maybe like the midday, 1 in the PM in the UTC time again, there's less troops that's going to be available on the field. But here, what we've drawn there, as you can see, is this beautiful formation. Like, they've made this nice wide murder ball, and that arrow just showcases, look, Noir here is basically out of position, and because of this strong line, they're able to just quickly pick out these guys out of position and quickly kill them, right? So I just wanted to outline this in this segment of the early stages where you could just watch some of these guys fighting, because honestly there is some titans in here and we're gonna obviously break it down for you. So this is the map, right? So as you guys know, just literally below me, if we went around the map, if you can imagine it, was the bridge from the earlier video that was posted a couple of days ago, right? So this is just, like I said, a little bit on the next, edge on the side to the eastern part of it, right? And what's really interesting is this whole area in the center is very, very vital. It sounds obviously maybe basic here, but we're going to go more in depth about it, because this actual tower right here is so important for the actual guys on the not the Noir side, but the vVv side, because when we draw this line, this is actually going to showcase like the territory, because the territory is going to come all the way and actually come and fill up this little area if these guys in the vVv side on the top right are able to actually come down and destroy this tower. So it's a very important fight for them. And as you can imagine, on the Noir side it's the opposite. So if they're able to actually come and blow up this tower, they've already got a structure here, and their territory would actually increase straight away, probably a nice good chunk, even a little bit more if it was going to be a bit more generous there, right? And that gives them that edge. So if they wanted to, they could plant another flag on their own territory and then try and obviously take out these flags here, and then obviously expand it really quickly on the earlier side, right? And this is obviously different strategies on both sides. I just thought if we brought the map into the game again, showcase that little bit more of information, it gives you that bit of extra, information on the fight. Because I know some of you guys in the comments and in the live stream have been asking for this type of info when it comes to my breakdowns in the PvP, since you really do like the way I'm able to break down the actual fight. So why not bring the actual outside of the fight involved, right? So here we're just showcasing now from here. This is just still going on, and this is going on after hours. These were going backwards and forwards, where we see Noir coming in and fighting against vVv on the top side. And you can see vVv at this time are actually destroying the tower. They do have the upper hand of Noir, but this is so shortly gonna change. Let's go into the next set of footage, the next part where we go into more highlights, where we even get the big boy Nephisto himself going ham and trying his hardest to help Noir push vVv out. And welcome to the next section. And yes, we've got basically how we've done in the last section, nicely highlighted areas of all the fight, and this is when things are starting to shake up, because Nephisto has dropped a bunch of power, as you can see in the earlier phases. We know he started around 902 million power, but here we go, the big boy is online, and he's got his troops ready after some time of preparation. You can imagine the murder ball had to come online, right? And this is honestly only a small amount of troops, but guess what? It's enough for the big man, and he pulls the trigger, and look at him, Nephisto running straight in with his Gresh, and Skogel with a Mocking Core is trying to pull all of the aggro with his Broom Bear, trying to get that maximum damage, using even his Frost Ring to even basically soak damage with these invulnerable triggers, which he's actually doing, which was kind of cool in that MrSneakyy for the vVv guys. But you'll notice Nephisto backed out of there with his ranged units. He does have all 4 ranged units still at his disposal, but you'll notice, and I did quote this in the live stream, I feel like he's purposely playing a little bit more loose with his troops, right? And there's a reason behind that, right? He is a player, as we know, with 900 million power, meaning he has an insane amount of troops. So if he wants to play a lot more loose and fun, and he's just basically trying to get as many free trades as he can, because he knows in theory he isn't going to run out of troops before you do. It's always going to be down mostly to the stamina potentially of his heroes. You know, he's going to go out and he's just going to try and get as many free kills as he can for his alliance, right? So it kind of makes sense in his playstyle if you go into that kind of mindset. But you can see here, 838 million power for our guy. And this just, again, just showcases some of the highlighted footage of what we've got of this fight of Noir versus vVv. And when we go into the next section, this is when the fight starts to develop a little bit more. And this is when we look at the map, and again, looking at this flag now is posing a massive threat once we've drawn this first line for you guys, because what this flag is doing now, they were successful in building this flag for vVv and allowing them now to upgrade it into the siege tower. And as you guys know, anyone in this radius I've just kind of drawn in the siege tower is going to be force teleported away. And this is actually really crucial, especially for vVv, because when we go and actually knock all of these cities out now, we can now draw this into a way where, if we could imagine, this is the current kind of line that the vVv forces have to hold, because obviously the current positions of the 3 cities, if we knock those 3 cities out, this line is definitely going to change. We get to move our forces up, because we don't have to worry now about those 3 castles, right? Those 3 castles are not there, with tons of T5 that could just jump out at any moment and kill us, as well as obviously allowing alliance members to hop in, hop out, and obviously cause a little bit of poke damage, which can be a bit of a nuisance, right? So there's always that threat from those guys. So this upgrade is very, very crucial for them. So once they've taken this, they are going to take control of all of this territory, as you'll see. And by doing this, and I'm kind of blocking it with my shoulder, but this little mountainside, you can see where my hand is actually creating a 2-way division, meaning they have to fight on 2 different fronts on the Noir side, while basically the murder ball of vVv on the top gets the perfect kind of one ball sink, and they just have to focus on one side over the other. So again, I thought I'd showcase that just to give you guys a little bit more now in-depth knowledge of what the situation is, because you will notice this has been upgraded. This didn't get pushed in by obviously the Noir boys in time. The Noir kept pushing troops in, but wasn't enough, and this is just showcasing Hamid even on fire, and with the troops of Noir here all trying their hardest to fight through and punch through this vVv side to do some damage while he's there, which I think is amazing, right? Because you can see the power of these structures, but as you can see through this time lapse we've got of always fighting backwards and forwards during the time of, honestly, this guy, the first teleport is out, and as you can imagine, the next on the list and closest target, because the other city, Sammy, I think, did teleport himself out, is Nephisto. And the thing is, Nephisto did some crazy stuff himself. He didn't just leave empty-handed. He did move his castle from this location just to the right, which I kind of find a big Chad move. I'm not going to lie. Big W for that when we watched it on the live stream. But what you're going to notice before he does actually disappear and get teleported out, you're going to see the reason and the power of this position, because Nephisto is obviously sat there primed and waiting basically to do some damage. And as you can see now, vVv are getting closer, and Nephisto just miraculously healed over 70 million power, and out of nowhere 5 marches come out of him, all basic on counterattack. He's actually going for a very counterattack based build with a couple of just extra, you know, cavalry for burst damage, and he's trying to punish all of those guys that were too close to his city, and you can see it working beautifully here. Even though vVv, big W to you guys here, honestly, the focus fire was insane, and look how quick all 5 of those T5 matches got absolutely sent back to the Shadow Realm. And this is just showcasing now, look, this fight just kept going on. Like, I'm just saying, this fight kept going on. Even when Nephisto just teleports a little bit south now, we keep going. And you can see what I mean by we keep going, that NOIR here are pushing forward and now basically going against vVv, because this is when I'm talking about the downtime of the vVv guys. I don't know what it is. I've noticed it when I've been live streaming these past couple of days. I don't know if it's around 12 UTC, 13 UTC, or 14. It's around at that time, I believe. A lot of the players either run out of troops, or it's just, I think, too late for them, right? They could be reaching 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Depends where they're from, right? It is always dependent on that. So it is obviously one kind of thing that I've noticed, and NOIR do take obviously full advantage of this. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. vVv in the first videos showcase pure great PvP strategy, but I'm not going to lie, the NOIR guys here also are showcasing in this video compared to the vVv guys just perseverance and patience, because they're not really, if you've looked at every single push so far, they've not really dedicated too many troops. They've got a decent amount. Obviously, the main players are always going there. But you'll notice later on, when there's lesser troops on the vVv side, that's when NOIR pounce. And when NOIR pounce, that is when things are going to get crazy. Because the thing is, what we're going to do once all of this footage is over is I'm going to go into the main game. Because when we go into the main game, I'm going to showcase what it currently looks like, because I did start to record some of the footage for it as well today, but honestly there's nothing much developed from this stage apart from a little bit of the map, which obviously happened while I was sleeping, but since then it's at a stalemate. So I just thought, you know what, we could do that in a nice little like segue towards the end of all of day 2's footage that we've got, right? So now we're moving back forward in time, like always, on this highlight reel, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. And if you have, you know what to do. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe. My name's MrSneakyy, the one and only. But we're here, and NOIR are going for a big push. And look at this. They got a bunch of troops on both sides now. And this is what I was talking about with the ability of those, you know, cities not being there now and having to fight on 2 fronts. But NOIR take this on full strides. And you know what? They don't actually fight on 2 sides, which I love. They look like they do at first with Nephisto doing his own thing. But for once, Nephisto actually went, you know what? I'm actually joining with the main group. And that's what he does. And with the main group, in the above side, look at them. The top side are punching through. There's not that many troops there still compared to normal. but they are punching through this vV side because they are trying to dedicate these builders. If we just pause the footage here, we're going to be able to see that you've got these builders basically on this flag, right? And during all of this fight, you've got to think, there was more and more builders, meaning there was no, or well, less and less fighters at the current point. So when we now watch NOIR, they do start to take full advantage of this, and watch how many more troops start to appear on the NOIR front, and it just comes, honestly guys, out of nowhere, which is terrifying to see. And this is what has been, if you look at up in the very top of the screen, in season T1 division 2309, if you really want to have a good time and have, you know, have a watch, always check this place out, because honestly they've got something normally going on most of the time, unless it's just their downtime of obviously on either side, which it happens guys, but it is what it is. But look at this, NOIR pushed forward, and this is what I'm talking about, where I love the fact that in this footage we've seen again backwards and forwards from both NOIR and vVv, showcasing, look, we as vVv can keep a hold and try and upgrade our flags, which we did. We can then push and create territory, which we did, but obviously it got to that downtime. And for NOIR, it's obviously them, they're allowed to now go ham and push forward through the land, right? And I just think it's been a great backwards and forwards that you're going to see here with this amazing, again, push from the NOIR guys. And this one had more troops than the last, as you can imagine, and we saw how many was in the last, and they were only in this top section. Now they're in both. They're coming around both sides. Nephisto leading the bottom. You've got obviously Innocent on the top side, and here we go, the big push now. Loads of builders again, over 50% builders on this flag from the vVv, trying to destroy it so they can obviously get that space required and get a, you know, territorial advancement. But guess what? This is it. The trigger has been pulled. They've noticed a little chink in the armor. And guess what? The NOIR uptime is up. And they are coming in for blood. Look at all of the artifacts coming in all at once. And it is insane the amount of damage you're about to see that pumps out. Insane gold crest onto the vVv guy on the right side, making sure that builder is being fully punished there with the gold crest lockup, which was absolutely savage when we actually think about what was going on in the actual gameplay right there. But here we go, Megatron now on the lead, now taking over for the top side. They are pushing through, and Nephisto still in the center of this screen. If you're wondering where the main man is, he's literally bang in the middle, rocking 4 ranged marches. And one thing I've noticed as well, and he might be, and I don't want to just say it, but I believe him and all of the others like Crystal, with like Crazy Bob, they are running the long-ranged warfare archer talent, meaning their archers and mages are firing at the same range, and they can do some really insane, nasty, and honestly nasty focus fire, right? So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video so far. This has been basically day 2 of the fight between these guys, and honestly this is when generally I started to finish streaming and we were just watching the end of this. But now if we go into the main game, what we're going to notice is a bit of a difference, right? Because in here, when we look at it, you've got this map, and we were just spectating this area, and this is overnight where we've slept, and it stayed like this now all day. So unless it changes again while I sleep before this after this video comes out for you guys, it'll be a bit crazy. But this is what the current map looks like. So you could see NOIR was successful during that vVv downtime, allowing themselves to get the flags, push forward, and now there's this strong hold. But the cool thing again is when we start to look at obviously the big names. Nephisto, 875 million power right now, and he's on 10.3 million merit. But if we do look over and give a big shout out to the vVv guys and find the one and only Crazy Bob, wherever this guy is hiding right now, he, last time I checked, especially in Crystallite as well, 106 million power and basically, you know, 8 times less than Nephisto, but he's on 7.5 million merits right there, which is just crazy. And Crazy Bob, if I can actually find him, unless he's changed his name, you'll see again this guy has the most merits, honestly, out of everyone, which is just crazy. And you can see though, honestly, if we look at and giving a shout out to all the names there of the vVv guys, and I'm just giving a quick shout here to all the NOIR people that are on screen. Honestly, these have been some amazing fights, and honestly, you guys have been giving some great footage, and I hope you guys have been enjoying this Season T1, and I hope you guys who have been watching this video and have made it all the way to the end have honestly enjoyed my coverage of this, you know, NOIR and vVv fight, right? This has been kind of day 2, day 3 combined there, all in one and without being too long. So, with all of that said, guys, you know what to do. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, stay safe, guys. Stay sneaky. Peace out.